Welcome, everybody. Hello, everybody.
Hello,
Welcome.
everybody.
Natalie and Deb.
Natalie
sit down.
and Deb, yes. We're about to start.
Welcome, everybody, to the last TILLI of the fall. And spring, winter and spring will be here soon, so don't worry, you won't miss us. We'll be here. We just want to introduce Rabbi Susie Jacobson.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say a brief hello. It's not a goodbye because TILLI actually never ends, even if this is our last week of the fall semester, because winter is going to start very soon. You're going to hear all about that, and then we'll be back for spring. This has been our largest TILLI semester, I believe, ever, and it has been such a joy to hear from so many of you about the amazing classes that you are taking and the conversations you've been having. This world we are living in right now is very complicated. And perhaps the world is always complicated, and it's always been filled with division and argument. But TILLI is a space where you all get to come together to engage in conversations about music, about politics, about history, about Judaism, about so many issues. And you each get to choose which conversations you want to be a part of. And in these classes, the diversity of opinion, the breadth and depth of all of your life and intellectual experiences and knowledge come together in this incredible way. So I really feel that TILLI is one of the brightest spots of the Temple Israel community, and I would say even the Jewish Boston community. So many of you, yes. And all of that is, to be honest, not because of anything me or any of the other clergy and staff do, but because of you, because of your leadership and your teaching and your presence. And I was told that I'm not allowed to do the thank yous this year, but I am going to end just by thanking Barbara and Priscilla, your incredible co-chairs who think about you, yes, who think about you all the time and think about this program and how we can evolve it and continue to allow this to be the incredibly rich and meaningful space it is. So my only hope and blessing for us right now is that we are maybe pausing at the end of a fall semester, but we are jumping right back into this incredible learning and growth. And I'm just so proud of TILLI and so proud of everything you've accomplished. So thank you to both of you. We have some chocolate for you. So your cat doesn't eat any flowers, Priscilla. And thank you so much for all that you do.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay, and so thank you, Susie. And you know, Susie, we talk to her on a monthly basis and more than that. And she has been so wonderful for us. We couldn't do it without her. And so I want to thank Susie Jacobson and all the rest of the clergy as well. And then, of course, we have to thank Emma. I'm not sure where Emma just was over here. Emma, I mean, what we would do without Emma, I don't know, all the communication that she does and the setup of the class. And there's Lily Van Cleve and Erin Markham. I don't know if she's around today, right now, but she's setting things up for the class. She's busy. So she's been a wonderful new person that has been helpful. In fact, a lot of people are new this year. We have the event coordinator is Connor Bolduck, and he's been back there. Jacob Swain is the AV manager. I'm sure you've seen him. He's been poking into the classes, and he's been wonderful. Naomi Ribner's communication associate. She does our website, and she's back there for us right now. Lisa Ferreira is the operations manager. And, of course, Dan Deutsch. Dan Deutsch is the executive director, and he helps manage the building facilities and the accommodators and security staff. He's the head of all of that. And then Brian Locke is director of facilities, and Joanne Thebalt is a receptionist that welcomes us and helps us with our parking. Okay, so next, the next people to thank are all our SGLs, our student teacher leaders. And I'm going to have Natalie do that.
Right. I'll be reading your name and thanking you. And you can stand, if you'll stand where you are, and Priscilla's going to come and give you a little token of our appreciation. And I do want, I mean, the SGLs have been wonderful to work with. I thank you all. Jeff Klepper has given us so much of his time teaching the world of Dylan. And I'm glad to say that he's agreed to do it again in the spring for those of you who were closed out in the fall. So it's a really exciting thing for us. Thank you, Jeff. And Larry Koff and Irwin Price, theirs was called It's the Economy. And we all learned, you know, what's going on, you know, nowadays with the economy. Thank you, Larry. For those of you... Right. Bob McCorkle, who does such a great job here with Lunch and Learn, also taught rhymers from Frost to Dylan. And once again, because his class was so popular, he's repeating it in the spring. And he'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the spring. Detlev Sudarov, it's your first time being an SGL. How was it? Good, good. So we were so glad that you did it. His was Out of Darkness, A Moral History of Germany. And then Robbie and Bennett talked about James, which is an amazing book, and we want to thank them for that excellent program. Rhoda Wald. Rhoda is our trooper. Rhoda is our leader, and she and Sarah Lynn did The World of Tilly, coming out with a publication, right, Rhoda? Yeah, I mentioned Sarah Lynn. Yeah, right. So it's really exciting that we'll learn the history of Tilly. And did The World of Tilly. Oh, thank you. So it's an ongoing project to archive the history and the world of Tilly. And then George came and gave a history of Hungarian Jews. I was told it was a very exciting class. Is Linda Newman here? I don't know Linda too well. Linda, thank you. Linda did the Women in Astronomy, and we were just talking at our table here about how fascinating it was to learn about those women, and then we talked about the role of women and how we're never recognized. But anyway, so those are the different classes from the fall. Thank you all. Oh, Peggy, oh my gosh. Peggy and yourself. Peggy, right.
Wait, we have to say that Natalie and Peggy Morrison, gave one. She's here, and she did a course. And Natalie, we have to thank Natalie because she did a course on Yiddish short stories, and I hear that went very well. People think you're a great teacher. And Natalie mentioned Bob McCorkle that we want to thank for the Lunch and Learns, and he's got a whole set of Lunch and Learns for the spring, but he didn't bring the names in today. But that's fine, you'll get them soon.
We want to thank everybody that's on the core committee. It takes a lot of work to do all this. We're just the figureheads over here. So if you're on the core committee, please stand up so we can thank you all. Yeah. And Deb? Yeah, and you can always join the core committee if you'd like. There's always space. Deb didn't stand up. There's always space for more people, and we meet on Zoom, so there's always room for a lot. We have room for a couple more faces in our Zoom meetings, please. Now I'm going to do the winter. Okay. Now, as you all know, it's winter session now. We've morphed right into the winter session. I got the lights in my eyes. So you hopefully you all got a brochure. They're on the front. If you haven't, get a couple, and you could pass them around to your friends. There's a lot. They were on the front desk when you check in. Oh, I don't know where they are then. Where are they, Emma?
They're on the table in the Nestleway lobby, and I'll run and bring some in here right now.
Thank you, Emma. Emma, they were on. So a few things, we'll just go over a couple of them, but you'll all get. The Fun Home at the Huntington Theater, we have 3 slots left as of just a few minutes ago. So if you're interested, check with Emma right away or send an email immediately if you're interested. Because there's 3 spots left. So the rest of it, the only other thing we want to tell you is that for ones that have limited registration, like for our tours and stuff, if you're a TILLI person, which all of you here are, there'll be a capped registration. You'll have 2 weeks ahead of time. You'll get an email from Emma saying you can register right away. And if you're worried about not getting in the tours, you should register when you get her email and not wait for the more public email. And that's just for things that are capped, which is right now it's the visit to the Harvard Art Museums. It will be capped. Same as Fun Home is capped. Everything else will be open. And then the registration will be online. But like I said, 2 weeks ahead of time, it'll just be an email to all of you. So if you want to make sure, like you want to get into that Harvard tour, register when you get the email from Emma.
You're going to get an email from me today at 4:30. The subject line is Join TILLI This Winter. And for the Harvard Art Museums tour, that's the only one we've got a cap for registration this winter. So that one, the registration link is in that email. Everything else you can register is on the website as usual, but you'll need to look in that email for the registration link for the Making of Matisse at the Harvard Art Museum.
Okay.
Oh, I just turned it off. Sorry.
Emma will also be sending out surveys for the classrooms. Do you want to?
Sure. You're going to get tomorrow, for everybody who's not in Jeff Kepper's class, which we'll send it out on December 12th because you have the makeup class next week, you're going to get an email from me at about 10 a.m. tomorrow that has the feedback form for your class. There's also going to be a second link, which is for general TILLI feedback for, did you like the Lunch and Learns? Did you like our summer programming this year? And just a question about your general experience with TILLI. So there's going to be 2 links in that email. Please fill out both of them. Thank you.
Okay, and I forgot to say for the core committee people, the meeting was supposed to be the 11th. We're changing it to the 18th so we don't conflict with a lot of things happening on the 11th. You'll get an email reminding you, but we're moving the Zoom meeting to the 18th. Natalie? Natalie's going to announce the spring classes and invite those people that are teaching to come up for a minute.
And also, I think, we could thank the curriculum committee.
Right. I want to thank the curriculum committee for helping put together our spring program. As you may have heard, there are going to be 12 choices, study groups for you to choose, 6 in the morning and 6 in the afternoon. Jeff Klepper is going to do the World of Dylan again. Jeff, do you want to just say a few things?
You do not have to be a Bob Dylan fan to enjoy learning about someone who is probably the most important musical figure of our time. We will talk about not only Blowin' in the Wind and the times they are changing, but Dylan's music in the 21st century, his last album, Rough and Rowdy Ways. Most people who say, sure, I love Bob Dylan, Blowin' in the Wind, times they are changing, Highway 61. No, that was back then. His music today is just as good as it ever has been. So we're going to talk about that and watch a lot of videos.
Thank you. Barb McCorkle is going to be talking about poetry. Here, Bob.
I've got 4 poets and 2 songwriters. The songwriters are Leonard Cohen and Bob Dylan, and the poets, starting with Emily Dickinson, doing Frost and a couple of others. And I've chosen people who work in traditional forms. So we've got rhyme and rhythm and other kinds of things that you don't see in a free verse.
Paula Folkman, who is our expert on classical music, is going to talk about her favorite things. Do you feel up to saying a few words, Paula?
This will be a listening course. During the class, you will just listen, and then you'll go home and listen some more. And we will hope to expand our techniques of listening. There are techniques and there are clues, and the hope is that you will be very surprised at the end of how much you know.
Wow, it's going to be hard to choose among all these great courses. A friend of mine, Brooks Goddard, who has taught here before, is going to be doing something on the Vietnam War, but he's doing it from what actually happened there. Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carried and Letters from Soldiers in Vietnam. Roberta is doing a memoir writing course. Roberta, you want to say something? I'm coming with the mic.
This is a course that's building on some of the other writing classes that I've done, and it has to do with creative memoirs and looking at different modalities that inspire us, different senses, different types of things that inspire us, and also expressing ourselves in different ways, writing as well as painting and other kinds of modalities.
That sounds really creative. Also in the morning, one of our members, Ann Peck, is going to lead a discussion group on current events. This is something she has done at her place where she lives, and so it'll be fascinating. Just talk about what's going on. Ashley Pratt is an intern, a rabbinic intern here, and Ted will tell you about what she's doing.
Thank you. So, do you know there are laws of warfare? There are. They're based largely on medieval Christian thought. Do you know there are Jewish ethics of warfare? There are. They don't always agree with Christian medieval thought, but this study group will examine all of that based on text, based on other things. It will apply all of that to examples of contemporary armed conflict. Should be interesting. Ashley has a master's degree in international relations, and she's a rabbinic student. She's extremely qualified to do this. Should be a very interesting study group.
Right. And Dale Cohn. Dale is going to repeat her class on Boston buildings, so she'll tell you some more about it.
All right, the course, excuse me, is named Telling Boston Stories with Boston's Buildings. A building's appearance embodies its cultural, social, and historical influences from the time that it was built. And so looking at changes in the building, or the lack of changes in the building over time, and the changes to its neighborhood helps us learn the stories of the city. And so we'll look at pictures of many of Boston's historical buildings and historical maps of the neighborhoods that they're in. And we'll learn their histories and the histories of their neighborhoods, and learn how changes in the buildings over time illustrate the history of Boston through using our eyes. And there will be some short readings that I'll supply to the class.
Paula No is going to be doing country music.
Okay, so country music is about 100 years old. So we're going to start in 1927 in Bristol, Tennessee, a little town where on one day an agent called Ralph Peer signed a contract with the Carter family, and recording started. And Mother Maybelle Carter was a trio. You know the Carter family, Carter Cash family, for example. So Mother Maybelle, who was the mother of June Carter Cash, she invented what was called the Carter scratch on her guitar. And she single-handedly changed how everyone thereafter plays the guitar. So we're going to start there, and that's in 1927. And we're going to go through American history, and we're going to look at duets, trios, and families. So we're going to do a lot of listening, and we're going to listen to people like Tammy Wynette and her husband, not husband, husband, not husband, George Jones. They how they tell the whole story of their relationship through their songs. We're going to look at Loretta Lynn, who came out with in the 60s with songs like The Pill, right? Talking about birth control. She came out with songs like Fist City, like don't look at my husband because you're going to end up in Fist City, right? She was one of the first strong women to write, and these are all songwriters, singers, writers, right? So she was one of the first to get everything right out there. It's all part of American history, so it's going to be fun.
Thank you. And our wonderful leader, Barbara Koff, is going to be doing something on immune.
Yeah, it's called immune health. You wonder, what is immune health? You hear about boosting your immunity. A product boosts your immunity. What does that mean? Are claims like orange juice wards off colds? Is that true or not? How do we age and mental health? How does age and mental health affect our immune system? We're going to use a book called Self-Defense, a myth-busting guide to immune health. So it's written for lay people. You know me, I will bring in the science. I'll have some science videos and some other things online that will be supplemental if you need it. But the book will bring up some, immunity is a very complicated thing. How do your immune cells know when something's pathogen and when it's okay? There's millions of microbes that live within us and around us, and some of them are very helpful, or they're not harmful at all. How does your body know which ones are okay and which ones are not? And how do you boost that health? And how do you? We're going to look at how stress, diet, age, and exercise, and the microbiome impacts that immunity, and debunk some of the myths that we're all hear about all the time. How can we tell what's fact and fiction with all these products that are supposed to boost immunity? Is it all right to boost immunity all the time? What about autoimmune diseases? What does that mean, and what happens to that? So it covers a lot, and I'm going to try to pick the more important things that we can discuss in 6 weeks.
Okay. Teresa Amirati is going to be doing her first study group. I hope it's not your last. Here, Teresa.
Thank you. I think you all know the Chinese curse, may you live in interesting times. We're living in them right now, and we lived in them before, sadly, all of us. And for me, one of the most interesting times that I've lived through is the 60s, which brought about a convergence of many things that had started before: feminism, civil rights movement, war. And so this course on the 60s will take us from Selma to Saigon. We'll be looking at Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech and JFK's inaugural address, which started off the 60s on a very upbeat note. And from there, sadly, it will go downhill. But we'll be looking at some Eyes on the Prize and watching video. We'll be listening to some very, very good folk music that came out of the 60s, and reading also Tim O'Brien's The Things They Carry, but in this case it'll be from a slightly different point of view from the morning one. All I have to say is I'm really sorry I'm teaching, because there are about 7 courses I want to take, including the Vietnam one. So I hope I'll see some of you in both places. Thank you.
And then the last one we're going to talk about is something new for us. And this was brought to us by Sarah Lynn, and it's the Jewish Play Project, which sounds totally fascinating. So Sarah Lynn and Deb Mandel are doing it together. By the way, I want to point this out. This is the second time that we've had two people doing a study group. It works very well. It lessens, the burden on one person, and I think the synergy is good. So, Sarah Lynn, you go ahead.
Hi, everybody. So once again, my study group, our study group, Deb and I, is going to be completely different. We have great fun in all of our classes, but they're intellectual exercises. This class actually will matter. You are going to vote. You will be the reader in a national contest for Jewish plays. It's something called the Jewish Play Project. It's been around for about, I think, 13 years. And we will read a play a week, and then we will vote. And our votes will count. We are part of a group of 13 different groups around the country. And the winner of the contest gets either a staged reading at the 92nd Street Y in New York, or last year they got a staged reading at the Berkshire Play Festival over Marlene went to and was fabulous. We will evaluate these new unpublished plays based on criteria that the play contest sets up, but basically whether or not they address salient, relevant, important issues facing the Jewish community. I've done it the last couple of years. It's great fun. These are mostly young playwrights. The plays we read, they read very quickly, and the discussion can be quite robust. So we hope you will join Deb and I in deciding on a new play for our community.
Good. Thanks, Sarah Lynn. And I will say I've known about these 12, and I can't decide. They all sound so interesting, and we're starting to do things now where we repeat very popular ones. So it could be if you get closed out, you can get into another time. One of the things that Emma has reminded us is that TILLI members have early access to spring registration, that for 2 weeks, registration for the classes are only open to TILLI members. So when you get your brochure, go through it, make your choices, and hopefully you'll get what you want. January. The brochure will come out in January, and the actual study groups begin April the 16th for 6 weeks. Isn't it? Oh. Is it earlier? Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. I got the wrong date. Emma?
Sorry, somebody was asking me a question. What's the question?
What's the date? April 8th?
9th.
April 9th. So sorry. April 9th to those people I've given the wrong information. So it's April 9th and then 6 weeks. And just look forward to the brochure, which will come out in January.
Actually, there probably will be even before, once it goes to the printer, you may get a email from us with a PDF of the brochure, so that that's when it'll be open.
Yeah, we will send you an email that has a PDF of the brochure, because obviously it takes a week or two to get to you in the mail, and in that email we'll have the registration link for the spring. That's how we're sharing it with you, so you get the early access to the registration for 2 weeks. That email will tell you, this is when the date of the early access ends, and don't worry, we'll send you reminder emails in case you missed the first one.
Right. Okay. Paula? Paula had an announcement? Because things keep rolling around here.
It's nice to have a captive audience. I'm here on behalf of two very important social justice committees. One is the Immigrant Justice Committee, and the other is Food Insecurity Committee, both of which are very important and are doing really, really good work right now. We have a relationship with La Collaborativa, a community-oriented place that takes care of of its people in Chelsea. Chelsea has, as many of you may know, has always been a city of immigrants. Sometimes the color of the skin has changed, but it's still a place that welcomes immigrants who are obviously at this very moment living in fear. So La Collaborativa has volunteer opportunities for us to do a mitzvah. At 10 o'clock on every Monday, this is what they have asked us to do. They've had a very busy, very successful food bank, but now people are afraid to come to the food bank. So we have to bag up and deliver to these people as best we can. So we're working, it's a very fluid situation. Whatever they need, we try to provide. So this happens at 10 o'clock every Monday morning at La Collaborativa in Chelsea. We could even organize a carpool situation because parking is a little bit complicated over there, but possible, because they need us and they depend upon us to come help feed their community. Okay, so in every correspondence you get from the temple, there's a link to the social justice opportunities. Go there and sign up to come to La Collaborativa. Bring anybody that you can, because they need as many hands as possible to help people in this time of real distress. And thank you.
And now for our annual photograph, because every time we take a photograph, so everybody has to come up. If you need to sit, we'll put chairs up, but everybody come up to the front. That's everybody. Please, please, please. By the way, I like your velvet.
All right, can we get folks to cluster a little bit more? There's a lot of space on the side I'm not on, the side near the atrium that we need to fill in some gaps. So if you're coming up right now, let's try and get you on. It's my left, your right. We've got a big space in the back, sort of behind, between Rhoda and Mark. I think we need to fill in some people. You both are fine. Can we... Yep, for those of you right over here, Natalie, the people around Natalie, we're going to go on the other side. Everybody's right here, yep. Judy, everybody in front of Judy. We're going on the other side. Yep, Judy, you're going to go on the other side too, because... Yep. Ruth, do you want to come around toward the front? That's your fine, okay. Jacob... in your afternoon classes.